thank Dr. That was a pretty impressive presentation. Thanks for his service to our country. It's not easy to follow up DARPA and that presentation, I will say that. But I'm going to give you all a slight mental break here, where you can slow down a little bit and think about some business items for your firm, whether you are a family office or a hedge fund or some hybrid of both of those. So a little bit about myself. Hopefully you can see my screen okay. I want to thank Marty too. A lot of gratitude for getting me involved and speak. I'm going to actually keep it short. I think 20 minutes or so will suffice to tell you about what we're doing here. So I am a CPA by training. I have a master's in tax law and securities products as well. Team director and a certified public accountant. I ran Andor Capital, didn't run Andor Capital, as senior vice president for Peapod Andor Capital in my early years, and ran a large $6 million long short equity hedge fund for almost 15 years, and I've spent the last 5 years running a multi-family office itself, and have developed a lot of experience along the way. One thing that I have found is, amongst others, is that being a COO can be very much a profit center for a lot of these firms that sometimes get overlooked and needs a lot of support. So that's great. We talk about a lot of things to invest in, a lot of diversity strategies. You also need to have a strong business and a strong model to run that business. So we are a group of COOs that support other COOs, purely hedge fund, purely family office, purely investment advisor focused. So we're a best-in-class operation. We have over 1,100 members helping me run and do that. And the beauty of it is, this isn't a website, there's articles talking about, who's moving to the shop, what return has happened on what place, or what, what other people are talking about. This is a group of peers, very large, very siloed in what we all do, which is take the business side of what is occurring at your offices and in your funds, and helping strengthen that so that you can focus on what investments you're working on. So I've been doing this for over 10 years. I started it at my hedge fund because I needed it to do my job, and I found it to be a real great addition. So in growing and adding to the ecosystem for other COOs and CFOs, these are some of the things of why being a member in this is beneficial, whether it's you or somebody back in the firm who runs this function. We're doing a lot of great things. So real-time data generation for COOs and CFOs is a huge benefit. And I'll just give you a very brief example here. I'll throw this up on the screen of something that occurred fairly recently, which is, and we actually might have talked about this yesterday. I was on site yesterday very quickly with some members. For instance, you're raising capital, you're talking to investors, you're dealing with, as a family office, investing in other investors, and you're dealing with a very simple topic of, let's call it, background checks and doing due diligence, which has been a hot topic these days. And you get a lot of information that can be accurate. It can be very all over the place, and you really have to figure out where is the market, what are the smart things, and what do you want to be doing here. And then, yes, you can pick up the phone and try and track down 5 or 10 people, but what we've been able to build here is a very large ecosystem to get immediate answers with a lot of quality details. So who's allowing standard background checks? Who's allowing these investors to do a credit background check? Who's allowing them to do licensing verification? Who allows them none of these things to happen? This was the survey we did for the COO membership, which had a lot of family offices at the time that we ran this in hedge funds, to give them some data sets to look at, right? So you can really see here that, for instance, 61% were allowing the principal and founding partner of the respondents to get a standard background check with no credit, answering that question of, do we allow credit runs on our GPs, or are we not allowing that? Do we want to stand out and be off the market on that or not off the market on that? And what are people asking for that's legitimate and what's not legitimate? Where do we want to be in that? So this is just an example. So this is, 42 essentially firms responding. This is within 3 hours. So this is not a month-long survey that you're getting in a magazine that's very generic. This is not, taking weeks to get answers to stuff. This is real-time ability for your business team to be able to operate properly, get investors in, review investments that you want to be making, and do their job better and act as a profit center, which I think is really important when you have a developed company to be able to do these types of things. So we're doing real-time survey data generation, which is a great asset to have, and very customizable. We are running all of the standard dinners and webinars, doing those types of things specifically for the enclosed group of what they're dealing with. And it's limited to the buy-side participation, which I think has been a great value, where they're not being inundated with a lot of prime brokers and administrators and those types of things, so people can feel comfortable responding to things that they want to respond to. A little bit about the membership as far as strategies. You can get a little bit of a feel for where they focus on. It's ever-changing snapshot that we did take a look at. And again, it's run by myself and a few other COOs who've done this for 25 years. So we sort of know where the problems are, where the values are, and how to customize things to help the group. This is a little bit more about talking about how I call it. So I call the survey generation a focus of developing the question, taking it to action, getting answers. And I think that's what we tried to develop here, all within a very, very short period of time and all customized to exactly how you want to see those answers and how you need to see the data generation and the underlying granularity to it. We're doing a newsletter that's customizable to running these funds and offices that are specific to what you're dealing with every day. Dealing with non-compete clauses for your employees, big topic. How should you be handling that? What do you have to be thinking about? And how should you be changing what's in your infrastructure right now? Shortages, dealing with your accounting staff, operational staff, sourcing jobs for everybody. We have a huge posting board where we can help people find, great people without having to use the recruiter angle of things, which can be a big help as well. So we're sort of running things both from understanding the investment side, but also helping be a profit center on the business side. These are all the things that we offer inside of it. And you can see there's a ton of different things that are happening in the group. Very low cost to be inside of the group. I always described it when I was going to different things and say, if you pull one thing out of a day or for something that's an annual thing or for that cost, it's generally worth it to run your business. And you can get a lot more out of it on a daily basis than that. These are some of the other things you can participate in. And we also work with a lot of sponsors. We've got prime brokers and law firms and all those things that help us with data generation and talking about different topics along the way. So I think of it as an outsourced, in the back of your pocket COO type of function, which, like I said, we're 1,100 strong now and growing, so it's worked really well. And hopefully people really liked it. It's, like I said, it's a nice little break from the complexity of some of the stuff we talked about this morning, which has been super insightful. This is a little more nuts and bolts, running your firm, running your company. And that's what I wanted to communicate to everybody. And I appreciate the time. If there's any questions, feel free. You can contact us on LinkedIn or at our flow code here or through our website, which is alperegroup.com. And I look forward to connecting with some of you. Thank you, Marty.
Joe, yeah, hold on a second here. So can you take down your presentation so we can see you?
I can. 1 second. Stop share.
Okay, so how big is the group and how big are you trying to get? And
so we're doing.
What do you see as your measurable accomplishments like in the next 12 months?
Yeah, when I started this, it was a couple of hundred of us, and it was very, very private and very, very sort of, I would call it country clubbish, right? So I know somebody, I'm going to invite them, and we're going to make sure everybody likes them, and then we'll put them in the group. And it was a very small environment. What we're trying to do now is make it a little more open while keeping some of its privacy, right? So when people respond to the account and provide information, we want it to stay private. We want it to for them to feel comfortable doing that. And that's one of the benefits of being inside of this group. But we're up to about 1,100 people. I'm able to manage that inside of that. And I think the growth is really sort of open. You know, can we take it to 1,500, 3,000? I don't really see any reason not. We're running a survey. You know, the more respondents you get, the better the data set. But there's no more work to create that survey, depending on how many members you have, whether it's 1,000 or 2,000. There might be more frequency of it because you've got more members asking questions. But if I'm writing an article talking about things that are important to deal with, about how to run the firm on a day-to-day, I can write that article for 1,000 or 2,000 people. It doesn't make a huge difference. So the goal, I would say, is to continue growth, maybe double this over the next year, and then take a breather and see where we are, make sure everything's operating. We're not getting in front of our skis, providing the same service, providing the same quality.
And everything is based out of Westport, or do you expect to have a distributed model? How are you going to run it?
We are, well, my offices are here in Westport. I go in the city fairly frequently. I was in with you guys yesterday. And then I also go out and visit people, depending on where we've got a big center of people. We've got a lot of people in California. I'll go out and host a dinner there and just say hi to everybody and show my face. We're hoping to grow into Europe a little bit, more UK, where some of the big hedge fund centric and family office centric offices are. So I would say Florida, New York, California, Massachusetts, getting UK. Those are some of the focus points for us, where a lot of the business is.
I think the way to grow this the fastest, as somebody who's been around forever, is create a certification, number one, and then create some continuing education modules, which everybody in the family office space would want to participate in, right? I mean, because if you have,
I didn't mention that too. That's a good point for sure. What we currently do is we run CPE for which is good. So anytime we do a online session or webinar, those types of things, I'm able to authorize CPE. CLE is another possibility, which we haven't gotten to yet, but I do like that area. So as we grow, that's something we'll be able to offer.
Fantastic, great. All righty. So any other questions? Okay, Joe, thanks so much, and great job.